it's showing that we are too selfish as a country and as sports federations. You know, when it comes to issues of age cheating, when it comes to issues of ineligible players being lined up for different national teams, we sometimes applaud it. We always know when we have ineligible players representing Uganda at under 17, at under at all these age categories, and as a nation, no one has ever stood up and said enough. We don't want people like that representing us, and unfortunately for us, that has to seep into the higher institutions of learning as well, simply because people don't view this as an opportunity to showcase the university. People view this as an opportunity to be seen as, for some reason, the GOAT in some of these competitions. KU has a good history of educating some of the best netball players in this country. I mean, a good number of the national team players go to Kampala University, but it always, why must it be netball, Faith? If someone would ask. And football, they also have issues with football, because even with football, there are questions brought to the table. But my thing is, it's not even just about those particular two sports. My thing is, you know very well you have quality teams. Why then are you trying to add an extra bit of ingredients at this point? You play in the University Football League, just bring that team, because everyone knows the players that play for KU. You play in different other competitions. Why then is it that every time we come to this particular inter-university games, inter-university games of Uganda, East Africa games, you barely had that. But in 2019, they lost the netball title simply because of the same issues to UCU. Now, if in 5 years you've not learned your lessons, I think it's high time maybe AUUS started maybe just meting out more heftier punishments than just banning you from the competition of that year. Maybe you shouldn't make it to the next championship. That way the institution will have to think about the integrity of this competition, because we are broadcasting these games, and we want to believe that we are giving Ugandans the best of what university sports has to offer. But if you're not being fair to the viewer of these games, you're really cheating the whole of the country, because at the end of the day we shall be asking questions about why a certain player cannot deliver when he's only 23. But in a sense, you've lined up a 30-year-old in a competition that has an age gap of 23. It's something, but at the same time it's an Ugandan problem, and it's something that we need to deal with it. Just to put it a little into perspective, remember yesterday UCU was supposed to play KU, and the similar incident Faith is explaining came about. And to as say right now, as you look there, the players of UCU are on courts. The games are not able to go on because KU still has issues to do with the verification, and at the secretariat things are not working out quite so well with the AUUS. So I mean, this back and forth pulling of strings, and one university today when we were having lunch and breakfast, I mean, I even had guys, teams complaining about the football team equally. And I'm like, but come on, they're even in the university football league. Why would you have to do this? Anyway, we leave that for another day, but generally, if you look at the competition, I want to start with the most current game just ended here. The Nkumba University and the Mountain of the Moon, the 49-13 goal score Faith. Did we see this coming from Nkumba University specifically? 49-13 to Nkumba University. Nkumba University 149 and 13 too. I think because they have a very thin bench, they have to know they've underperformed today. Yesterday we saw UCU deliver 115 to 8 on Mountain of the Moon, and of course I think clearly they're an institution that has their hearts in the right place. They're trying to make their way into, to like dig and delve into competitive, university sports, but they are still learning. So for me, for Nkumba, knowing they had a thin bench, that definitely also affected them, because they had to play, in the morning they played against Soroti, and also in the afternoon they had to come out against Mountain of the Moon, and I think that kind of affected them. But you know, with Mountain of the Moon, you can't say you've seen improvements, because even yesterday they had a bit of issues.
They were able to win one game at least. They beat Soroto University.
Because it's a game between two minnows, so if they won, it's because they probably met someone in their age range and they managed to handle them. But for me, look at this as an opportunity for the smaller teams to grow. But the reality is that if you're looking at the competition so far, it hasn't been short of some surprises. I mean, if I look at football and the fact that MOOCs were able to defeat UMU, come on, you
The defending champions of the University Football League.
University Football League champions. I mean, you're wondering, is there still more to come? You see, you lost to Maguire
Just a little bit to add on with Moobs, of course, definitely you expect. First of all, I talked to the match officiator who officiated the game of Moobs and UMU today, and it can clearly tell you that Moobs looks to be a little bit organized, even in their defense. Of course, remember they have this one player, Odong Arnold, who is one uprising star in Sports Club Villa. You're able to pull him to come and play for you. He's a student at MOOPS. And then also you have Akim Chuanuka, who is also one of the best midfielders we have in the country right now. Youngsters with AC Villa the same. You definitely did not expect them. But as for Omo, even when you look at them in the league, scoring 2 goals, 1-0, 2-1, like that, not keeping up the clean sheet, definitely you don't think that you expected much from them. I mean, for me, the biggest surprise actually for me, it was the game of yesterday. Uganda Christian University, yes, taking on Macquarie University. To be honest, I was
a lot of University Football League in the last 3 years. You see, you thought, maybe we can rest a few bodies here, because we all know that they have to play all these games within a tight 5-day period. And that is too hard on the body and on any individual. So I think for me, while we've reached, while you see they got it wrong, and they know they got it really, really wrong yesterday, because there was an opportunity against Maguire, maybe play your best players and sit them out in the second half after you've done the business. But then again, Maguire were brave enough to bring students who are with between exams. They are really trying for confidence.
Yes, overconfidence. Of course, not being the defending champions, pressure is always also very high, and you would want to understand the players of UCU. But also looking at one of their players, one of their key talisman was not feeling fine yesterday. I remember talking to the coach and Bianca. And he kind of told me the guy had a little bit of cough and cold, and definitely for me who has been down with cough and cold, I can clearly tell you barely can't play a game out there. But when you look at also other surprises, I didn't see so much surprises in volleyball. Yes, we have volleyball in the morning.
Volleyball is a bit straightforward. In the morning we brought to you the game between Mountains of the Moon and Bukema University. And of course Bukema's, they stood up to the test. They showed out and showed up. They showed up and showed out. They were, out of this world. And at the end of the day, for me, that's how you play such tournaments. If you're the better team, you have to take care of business as quickly as possible. I think we were on and off the court within 45 minutes, which is ideal for a player who knows they have to play multiple games and multiple competitions. But of course, games are still going on right now. We all know that the basket competition went on up to 2 a.m. yesterday. That's why today the basketball program was rolled out after 4 p.m. because players were so exhausted. And one of those reasons was, of course, had to do with verification. And I would like in the future for us to consider verifying players. At least a week before.
Exactly.
A week before. And then we'll have some peace.
I want to give kudos to Bugema University. Remember, this is their first year in the category of volleyball, especially in the inter-university. They are playing against a team that is Mountain of the Moon that finished 5th in 2019. Where you remember UNICO hosted the games. So having finished 5th, and then you're playing against the first time appearance candidate, definitely becomes a little bit hard. But of course, if you also look at it in terms of the game execution, you could clearly see that there was a lot more from Bugema University. And let's talk about the ladies, the volleyball ladies. UCU, of course, against against Nkumba. Nkumba University, of course, having separated. Yeah, now you have the Nkumba University team as a team. Definitely, Faith, could it be one of the things as to what reasons that's why you didn't see that action-packed performance against the UC ladies?
Possibly because looking at the Nkumba setup, it was really tied around Coach Tony Lapointe. But once the club broke away from the institution, and that is to form KCB Nkumba Women's Volleyball Club now, away from Nkumba University, the truth is that the university is in a rebuild process. They are at a point where they're still trying to create a competitive netball program for the girls. But the difference here is that the men are really ahead of the women. The men are competing in the Syria, but the women are still locked in a situation where they are now an institution club, largely. So they don't have they don't have a lot of access to good scouting, which would you would do if you have a competitive club in the league. But now they have students, yes, who are ready to compete, but I think the level is more based on we are students. Our first instinct is to study, then volleyball second, but I still feel like there are opportunities out there for better.
Yes, of course, if you look at the University Volleyball Tournament, which of course started today with 10 universities which took part, and they include Makara University, Islamic University in Uganda, Kampala International University in Deje, Bishop Stewart, Kampala University, Uganda Christian University, Chambogo, Mobs, Moni University, and the University of Kisui. Those are the universities definitely that also took part in the category of Volleyball out there. As you make a wrap, do you have any particular moment you'd want to reopen about today's event? Let's talk about this date basically.
I mean, there's so many things I think that have caught everyone's eye, but that result from UMU has to be big. Actually, I'm really looking forward to tomorrow because one of my favorite things to watch is happening in athletics.
Tomorrow.
Yes, tomorrow athletics. That's all I can tell people. I love to watch athletics.
Actually, we have athletics and rugby tomorrow. Unfortunately, swimming is taking place at the Ivory Tower at Makara University, and I hope with the time, Uganda Christian University would have gotten done with its swimming pool. But for now, we just want to thank the universities, at least for the togetherness that managed to put together. So, Faith, your last message?
I mean, straight into Urban TV, we have so much in store for you. The university games continue. We shall make sure you are overfed on Vision Group in all platforms, I mean, everywhere.
It doesn't matter which university you support. It doesn't matter the results your university is producing. What matters most is these young women and men are able to gather together and showcase the talents that they have. Just to highlight a little bit, the girl child performance this year has increased a little bit to at least 45% according to the statistics that the House President, Madam Penina Kabenge, gave us yesterday, and that is quite very good. And she's not only in active sports, but even the match officials, but even the frontliners, specifically the sports journalists. Gone are the days you only see the men before you, but today you see me, Faith, behind the microphone, the cameras and everything. We want to thank you so much. Take notes, read our newspaper stories, very beautiful pieces written by our own Patricia, of course not forgetting Michael Sumuga, and the rest of them who are seated at home there. From now to you, we sign out, but we shall keep you posted on any happenings. Bye bye, good night, and take care. Shasha.